As a 12.4% electricity tariff kicks in this month, residents who are living in Johannesburg have highlighted the ongoing economic impact as a result of the rising cost of living. These increases come at a time when City Power is also struggling to keep illegal electricity connections at bay. Just this month, in the City of Ekurhuleni, people there, authorities were forced to halt electricity tariff increase, the start at least of those tariffs, after residents took to the streets in frustration in Tembisa. Let's take you live now to Orlando East in Soweto. That's where SABC News anchor Mbali Thethani is standing by for us tonight. And Mbali, speak to us about just how people in that community have been affected by the rising price of electricity.
Certainly, Tembegile, of course, the issue around electricity tariffs and those electricity tariffs continuing to see a major increase remains a thorny issue for many communities. And of course, we've seen a number of protests throughout the country, particularly when you look at residents in various municipalities in Gauteng. And you just remember that we saw that major protest taking place in the city of Ekurhuleni. And of course, the residents there bemoaning the issues around an increase in electricity tariffs. And the residents of Soweto are no different, and we're going to now hear the views of some of the residents living in this community when it comes to the prices of electricity, on the back of major challenges, of socio-economic challenges that we continue to see in the country. And firstly, Tembegile will now bring in Zakele. Zakele, I mean, we've seen a number of people complain when it comes to issues around increasing electricity tariffs. What are your thoughts when it comes to some of the challenges that you are facing as somebody living here in the city of Johannesburg?
Thank you, Mbali. The problem of electricity, it's a national issue, firstly, that is affecting each and everyone. Whether there's tariffs or there's no tariffs, it's affecting people, especially with the rate of unemployment that we are facing as a country recently. It's a huge problem. People, they cannot afford electricity. And even though another issue is the issue of prepaid. People, they're willing to buy electricity, but to pay electricity. But when it comes to buying it with prepaid, it's a challenge, because in a normal four-room house, you'll find that people have to buy electricity for 3,500. Even if when they are trying to substitute, maybe using gas, using other things to substitute, that it comes expensive on its own. So it's very expensive. And as Soweto residents, especially where I'm coming from in Zola, people there, they are very smart people. They always want to negotiate the issue of electricity. The other challenge is that with Eskom not coming on board, because people, there's concerns, community groups that are always challenging Eskom to say, Eskom, please come on board. Right. We wanna make arrangement with you. We always hear and understand that you are saying we're in debt with you, but we want to make arrangement with you and pay you. It's not nice with the residents. They've always got that in mind to say free service, it's not something that they're all willing to go for. For you to get to get a good service, you must pay something. Right. So, but it's unfortunately, Eskom is not coming on board.
Thank you so much, Zakele. I'm also going to bring in here another resident, Sis Monica. Sis Monica, if you can just come a bit closer for us. I mean, you are somebody who has continuously raised your frustrations when it comes to some of the problems associated in your community when it comes to electricity and the high costs of electricity.
Yeah, electricity tariff is really affecting us. More especially, we've got Abogogo. Who are getting money for grants. You know, all the people are not working. The grandchildren are not working. That money they are given for grant, they use it to buy electricity, which is not fair to us. All we want as residents, we want Eskom to listen to people, to pay electricity. It's not a wrong thing. We are not saying we mustn't pay electricity. There's nothing for free. We do understand. But this tariff, when you buy electricity, maybe for 100 rand, it doesn't take even the whole day, you know. And I was also affected when this prepaid came in. I used to have a problem. I have tenants. Yes, I do have tenants myself. They buy their own electricity, but it's still very costly for me. I went there to Eskom to report. He didn't even come and look what is going on. What is the problem? He just said, What must I do, you know? And now I'm just saying this thing is affecting us a lot as residents.
All right, Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Bongani, if you can also just step in a bit closer. I mean, we've heard some of the issues when it comes to high costs of electricity. Do you think that the reasons behind we are seeing illegal connections, one would say that it is because of the high electricity costs that we are seeing in the municipality?
Yes, to be honest, ngale ndaba yokuthi kunama high cost, ama tariffs na whatever what is happening, Eskom doesn't come to play to kuza kubahlali. Abahlali, they are willing to give ubaphe a chance ukuthi some must pay, afford a prepaid, they can do it prepaid. But Eskom doesn't come and listen to abahlali. And issue ama tariffs, abahlali bayazini tariff, because khona manje makathenga ivoucher 10 rand is 3 point something, because uzokubuza ukuthi mangithenga Vodacom voucher 30 rand, I get 30 rand. Then makube ngizothola 3 point something, where's the rest of the money? Where is it going to? Because we know Soweto owes and kunemali kufanele ibhatalwe. Eskom must come and explain ebantwini ukuthi this is a procedure, must start at this amount goes where, and I want to understand, because even that 10 rand doesn't last, that 100 rand doesn't last. Now, a very issue unemployment is high, especially like Soweto. Now, most of tariffs without consulting public participation, as you need whoever who's regulating Leonto as a community and speak to community. I understand the situation. What community we are from, which side.
All right, Sis Brenda, also thank you so much, Bongani, for your thoughts. Sis Brenda, let's get your thoughts now when it comes to some of the challenges that you are faced with as Umphakathi la Orlando.
Okay, as Umphakathi la Orlando, our challenge is my challenge for starters. You buy electricity, you pay for electricity, but there is load reduction all the time. Why is it supposed to be like that? Because we're paying for this electricity. Secondly, I think if we have a flat rate, like our cocos, we used to pay a flat rate, let's say 500 rand per month. If all of us, we pay 500, each and every household, each and every house, ipatala 500 rand. I think we can solve this problem. If Eskom can come and talk to us and understand and we need to pay this amount, all of us. Let's say there's a flat rate of 500 rand, or let's say 350, just an example.
Thank you so much. Of course, Timigile, those are some of the thoughts we are getting. I'm going to bring in now Ebrahim Mazimoga. You know that he's one of the people in Soweto who continuously fights for these issues pertaining to electricity. Babseth, you're no stranger when it comes to the issues around electricity in this country. Just give us your thoughts when it comes to some of the major electricity tariffs problems that we are seeing, in this municipality.
You know, we have a problem in this country. Let me start there. I always say if Eskom in this country could go back and say, where did this problem about electricity start? Would solve a lot of problems. There was a political promise made by big politicians where we were told all what you owe is going to be scrapped off. There was a parliamentary session sitting, and in parliament that came to come and hear people speak, and that was in 2017. There was a Human Rights Commission hearing that we approached as the Soweto Action Committee about this issue. I'm getting tired, I'm sitting here, I'm in a 10 years old case with Eskom as I'm standing here. But we still have not 10 years. I led a march. They are talking about senior citizens. Orlando East is one of the oldest townships. The highest population of Orlando East are senior citizens and children that we have put into drugs. To me, it's just not an issue about tariffs, but it's an issue also about our history, where we're coming from. And also, I've made a call. That time, the call I was making, I said to Eskom and the country, let's just have a CODESA about this issue. And you have heard it from the community. Let's just talk. Let's just have a CODESA about, actually that time I was even saying water and electricity. But can I tell you, I'm still making that call in a different name now. Let us have a national conversation or dialogue. Before we go to this big dialogue, can we treat issues that are on the door of our people and maybe the people that we want in that national dialogue? And that issue is about, we are not going to get this problem solved. Middlelands was on fire the other time. Ekurhuleni was on fire. And these tariffs go deeper. We don't just, maybe one of the people might even say, let's look at what we get as social grants. Let's just make calculations from there. Maybe even let's just look at what we are getting out of the 350. Let's just make, and then we always said, and the community was always saying, we don't want mahala electricity. We are only saying when you do your considerations. We were crying off a flat rate. By the way, abogogo was Orlando, no flat rate even before apartheid. Yeah. Before apartheid, Gogo, my grandfather and grandmother here used to only pay flat rate.
Thank you so much, Abab. Right, Tembegile, as you heard, those are some of the views from members of Soweto, particularly some residents here in Orlando East in Soweto, just giving their thoughts when it comes to issues around the increases in the electricity tariffs, also at the same time highlighting some of the other issues which are associated with increases in electricity. And of course, as you heard there, Seth Mazimbuga continuing to highlight and say that, well, this is a battle that they have been fighting for quite some time. And you'd also know that Soweto is one of those communities in the country that continues to owe Eskom millions of rands.
Right. Mbali Thethani, SABC News anchor live for us in Soweto tonight as we track the impact on the cost of living as electricity tariffs and the price itself has continued to rise right across the country.